Hi, Gina Scarpino, psychic medium and spiritual life coach. So, I recently had a client come in and tell me a story. So, basically, the last time that she came in to see me, this is a hair client, by the way. The last time that she came to see me, she sat down. We had a great time, normal conversation. We talked a little bit about the passing of her loved one that happened a couple years ago, and she told me that on her way home she started crying and couldn't stop. And she asked me, like, is this normal? Like, is this happened to anyone before? And I had to tell her it was very normal. So I know that when people come to see me, I help heal their grief, and that's with hair and with readings. So I know that I'm a healer, okay? And I know that I do certain things for certain hearts and souls just by being in the room or holding space or being supportive or talking about the right thing at the right time. So what does it mean to be a healer? Anyone can be a healer, okay? I know almost everyone in my life is a healer in some way, shape, or form, okay? It can come in very many forms. I am a Reiki master, so I deal with white light. And basically what Reiki means is, do you remember the old school way that nurses used to learn in school called healing touch or the laying on of hands, like in the Bible? It's like that. So Reiki is a Chinese form or a Japanese form of healing, okay? And so it's a way of opening up your energy to let God's healing energy come through you, basically. And so I do that. I do healings in that way. And it helps. It's a form of relaxation. So if you have cancer or anxiety or depression or anything like that where the body needs relaxing, Reiki helps with that. And I really enjoy using that form of Reiki. And so with that, being a healer, I heal in that way. I heal with saying the right things at the right time and listening to my intuition. I heal in being a listening ear and listening to my clients. I don't do a lot of talking when I'm doing my hair clients. I allow them to speak, allow them to hold space, and I ask them the right questions at the right time. Now, when I do my readings, I am the talker, I am the healer. It's not as passive. So there's an energetic way of healing and a passive way of healing. And I know that's just part of me, and a lot of people have their own healing abilities too, and so when my client told me this story about going home and driving home and crying all the way home, I was like, oh, I get it. And I explained to her, we talked about your loved one passing, and there must have been some grief, in your heart, and so that was your body's way of releasing it. Also, I told her that she's sensitive to energy, just like I'm sensitive to energy. If you've never heard the word empath or being empathetic, when you're empathetic towards someone, you have empathy, meaning you can feel what they feel. You understand them, you get them. And so when you're an empath, you can feel other people's desires, other people's hurts, other people's happiness, just as if it were your own. Have you ever heard the old saying, like someone's pregnant, say, and you say, oh my gosh, I couldn't be happy as if it were my own, and it's the same kind of thing, but in real form. So you really have to be a strong empath to be able to be psychic, to be a medium, and have those feeling centers. But a lot of people that aren't mediums are empaths. And I hate using those words because they sound so woo-woo. But to be honest, like, so many people walk around feeling what other people feel and not knowing like what to name themselves, and not knowing like, oh, I feel so strongly all the time because I'm an empath. There's tons of books, tons of literature, and the number one question is, how do I control being an empath? Well, it's learning your boundaries, learning to let the emotion flow, and knowing that it's not yours. This is one huge thing that you need to learn when you feel other people's feelings is learning when it's your feeling and then knowing when it's not. Okay, so if you're in your car and you're driving home and you start to burst into tears, check in with yourself. Is this my feeling or is this someone else's? Okay, so for instance, I recently did some volunteer work. I got home that evening. I did some volunteer work and then I went and taught yoga. And I got home that night and I burst into tears and I couldn't stop crying the rest of the day. And I sat down and I checked and I said, okay, am I having a breakdown? Like, what's going on with me? What the hell is going on? Like, I'm not a huge crier. And, but I know that when I do cry, that it's an emotional release. So I checked in with myself and I said, okay, is this my emotion that needs to be released, or is this someone else's emotion? And I checked in with myself, and the volunteer work that I did that day was some heavy duty stuff, some deep work that I did that day, and it was all of the emotion attached to the people that I worked with, because I was so open, so trying to heal the group and working within that group, that it was all of the emotion from the other people. It wasn't even mine. And so I just needed to relax, release, and clear it out. So if you experience symptoms of being an empath, feeling what other people feel like, walking into a room and automatically feeling either happy or sad or excited or anxious, what are other signs of being an empath? Laying in bed and feeling a family member in despair, or anything that strikes a mood in you. You know, check in with yourself and learn yourself in that way of is it my emotion or someone else's emotion? One way to clear out your emotions and to clear all of this out is do a check-in with yourself twice a day. In the morning, when you first wake up, take a shower, say, God, please surround me with your bright light of love and protection. Please keep my energy, and everyone else's energy, their energy. Please let me be a tool, a instrument of your wisdom and of your message, and guide me where I need to go. And so do that morning and night, so that clears out everybody else's energy so that you can stay in tip-top shape. And you really need it during this time of year, and any time of year, So it's really important to know thyself. If you're an empath or a sensitive or an intuitive or anything, or even if you're a normal freaking person and you're like, none of those words match up to me, saying your prayers really helps. Saying prayers. And it doesn't have to be God, like whoever you believe in, whatever you believe in, saying out loud and making intentions and saying prayers. And I pray to my God. Like, I pray to God, I pray to angels, I pray to saints. Prayed to Saint Anthony earlier because I lost a ring I'm still trying to find. Like I pray constantly, all day long. I do. And let me tell you, since I've started a life of prayer, it has completely changed everything. It has made my life so much easier, so stress-free. And I know that my guides, angels, and God have my back. And it's what gives me strength to do this work and to keep going. So if you have any questions about being sensitive, how do I control being an empath, how do I control my emotions, anything like that, shoot me over a private message, email, call my cell, whatever you guys need, and we'll talk you through it. Thank you, and I will set up a new video soon.